34. In Praise of Matrimony. Marsilio Ficino to Antonio Pilati, poet and excellent friend, greetings. I cannot but highly approve, my Piloti, the fact that you have long been applying your mind to matrimony. By matrimony, man, as if divine, continuously preserves the human race through succession. As through ingratitude, he returns to nature what he has received on loan, often with interest. Like a true and generous sculptor, he carves in his offspring a living image of himself. Moreover, it is only, or principally, through these means that he obtains loving companionship for life and faithful guardianship of his affairs. He also has a domestic republic, in the governing of which he may exercise the powers of prudence and all the virtues. At the same time, he provides the greatest protection for his old age, which he may spend more serenely in the bosom of a beloved wife, or in the arms of sons or grandsons, or in the care of relatives by marriage. Finally, a wife and family offer us sweet solace from our labors, or at least the strongest incentive towards moral philosophy. Wherefore, Socrates used to confess that he had learnt so much moral philosophy from his wives than natural philosophy from Anaxagoras or Archelaus. Who would deny that from the time man has been created, nothing has been ordained or established for him by God which is more important and more ancient than matrimony, and that it is numbered among the sacred mysteries and held in the highest regard among all peoples? The powerful have always respected it, and the wise have not disdained it, having seen that it is conducive to the ordering of society and does not hinder learning, provided one lives temperately and spends one time carefully. Although in youth our Plato rather neglected matrimony, yet finally in old age, moved by repentance, he made sacrifices to the goddess of nature, thereby to absolve himself publicly from the charges, first, of having ignored matrimony, and, second, of being barren. And he proclaimed in his laws that a man who did not take a wife ought to be kept well away from all public duties and offices, and at the same time be burdened with public taxes more heavily than other citizens. Hermes Trismegistus says that men of this sort are judged to be wholly unfruitful by human law, and like dry and barren trees by divine law. Under divine law, only two kinds of men seem to be exempted: those who are quite unsuited to matrimony on account of some disability in their nature, or those who have devoted themselves to Minerva alone, as though they have pledged themselves to a wife. Nature herself excuses the former, while chaste Minerva would perhaps reproach her devotees if they were to pursue Venus. Nature, which has brought forth our Piloti, strong and handsome, would certainly have disapproved had he by the chance neglected matrimony, and if Minerva, whom he has long served, tries to reprove him for mixing Venus with the Muses, Apollo and Mercury, will come at once to his defense. They will surely say Pilati has dedicated to the sacred Muses more and better songs after his wedding than before it. Finally, these sublime beings will bid one their companion Mercury move as escorts to either side of Venus, mother of love and music, and walk with her almost step by step, so to speak, and never go far from her. But let us now leave the stars and return to mankind. I see you in the future, Antonio, frequently declaring in the following manner, within your own household, the benefits of taking a wife, man alone, or man most of all, is a social being, as the philosophers say, and for this reason the power of speech and of formulating laws is bestowed by nature on him alone. One who has lived alone to see himself as somewhat greater than man, but more probable something less, since he who transcends human powers by amongst men rarer than the phoenix. He will play his part better than the rest of mankind if he has entered into a permanent and indissoluble family union. In this fellowship, let him strive to serve, to learn how to guide the society of mankind itself. Surely, just as the state consists of households, so skill in the state affairs consists of the judicious handling of family affairs. He who has not learned to govern his household will never know how to rule a state. He will never love his country while his believers have the blessings and his woes hardly apply to him. He would not care to instill more serious conduct into himself who, by living alone, does not provide a model of good conduct to a family. Anyone who is not occupied in family matters will each day become more neglectful and degenerate through idleness and license. He will never know how to love anyone truly and steadfastly if he does not experience the true and imperishable love of wife and children. He will never know to learn to endure the world, and by enduring to conquer, if he has not a family to teach him patience. He will not learn to feel compassion for men if he has never experienced a weeping wife or child. For indeed, if the mind is not unacquainted with this misfortune, it learns how to succor the afflicted. But worst of all is the man who does not know how to watch over his family, nor that God should frequently be invoked for their welfare. For the most part, he ignores the laws of mankind, men themselves, and the worship of God. In short, he will be exceedingly difficult to avoid, stripping man bare, unless we clothe him with the lawful mantle of matrimony. Wherefore, friends, if you wish to be men and lawful sons of God, increase the human race legitimately, and, just as you are like God, so in the fashion of God, beget sons like yourselves, nourish them, rule them, direct them, and remember, in family affairs which need to be so carefully directed, have due regard for yourselves, gain skill to acquire authority in the earthly commonwealth, be worthy of office in the heavenly commonwealth.